Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Dream Life Loading channel. My name is Skye. I'm the creative director.
And I'm Susan. I'm an owner of Dream Life Loading.
So, last week we talked all about morning routines, and this week we're going to talk all about our night routines. So, Susan, do you want to start us off and walk us through your ideal night routine?
Yes. So my morning routine is like, it's bulletproof. That thing is like a science for me at this point. My night routine definitely needs some work. So I'll tell you like what I do now and then what I want to be doing and implementing into it. So right now we go to bed between 9:30 and 11. Like last night we went to bed at 11:30 because we both fell asleep watching the football game. Um so we're usually in the living room. I'm usually working literally until I can't keep my eyes open anymore. So working in the living room, just chilling, and then I go to the bathroom and I shower and I wash my face, like I cleanse all this gunk off. And then I moisturize and I use my what's it called? You know the rock thing that I wash it. Yes, because I always pronounce it wrong. But I love that. That has been my new favorite lately. I just my face, I can see the difference.
Mhm.
So I that. And it's just like nice to get all that stuff out of your face. Like,
I do it in the morning, and I get really congested in the morning, I've noticed, and doing the gua sha like
I
here and here,
yes.
it helps your sinuses so much. Like
Yep.
it is a beauty tool, but it's also like such a health tool for me. I find it such a big
I
difference.
could literally feel the stuff coming down the back of my
Mhm.
neck this morning. And I was like, wow,
Amazing.
like what a difference. Especially in the winter. Like the summer's not as bad, but like winter, that thing is gonna be my lifesaver this year. I can already tell. So moisturize, do my rock thing. And then I brush my teeth, my PJs, which a little fun tip, if you want to feel like bougie, put your like your PJs in the dryer before you put them on because they're nice and warm and cozy. And that's been my go-to. So like if I'm taking a bath or I jump in the shower, I've even been throwing my robe. I throw all of it, my robe, my towel, and my PJs in. So everything is nice and toasty when I get out. And that's like my new life hack. Um,
That's
and then I put
honestly
on
that's good, Susan. That's a good
it.
tip.
It is really good. That's been like it's just something so small, but just makes you feel so much better. I don't know. It's like a warm hug. Um, and then I put on our humidifier because both Chris and I get like super dry and stuffy and gross if we don't have that running. And it's a noise machine, which we didn't think we were gonna like, but we both sleep so much better with just the white noise. And then I have a Kindle, so I put it on night mode and I read until my eyes like really can't be open anymore. And then this is something that I do consistently. Like the rest of the stuff, some parts happen, some parts don't. Like there are some nights that I unapologetically sleep in my makeup because I'm just too tired to take it off. Um, but this I do every single night. I have three options of what I think about as I'm falling asleep. So the first one is I just list everything I'm grateful for. The second one is for when you want to manifest money. You just imagine money falling on you, which sounds like kind of weird, but I always wake up with money related notifications in the morning when I do that at night. And then the last one is if I'm like traveling or I'm somewhere where I'm not as comfortable and I really need to just fall asleep. Like, you know, those nights when you're just laying there and you're like, I just want to fall asleep or I need to fall asleep. So I don't even know where I learned this. Somewhere on YouTube. And you shut your eyes and you imagine you're shutting off each part of your body. So you literally start with like your hair. You imagine your hair like going to bed for the night. And then like you picture your brain falling asleep. Like I literally picture my brain like the little like people and they shut off the lights. Like everything just goes to sleep. And you do it all the way down your body. And like if you feel like a piece of you didn't fall asleep necessarily, you go back and redo it. I can get to like my shoulders and I'm out every single time.
Wow.
Um, but that has been a game changer for falling asleep. So that's like what I do now. Do you want to do your nighttime routine and then we can do wants?
I can. I'll say, actually, I'll go back to what we talked about in the morning routines last week. And I hope everyone that watched that had the same experience I did from watching it, and that Susan's routine motivated me to really get my routine solidified. Moving to a new place, a new country, moving in with your significant other, all these changes make it really hard to form and stick to a routine. So it's still something that I'm working on, but I started implementing a lot of what we talked about last week into my morning routine, and it already has been helping. So I'm kind of going to be doing that with this week's episode too, and kind of really work on getting a good night routine, but a lot of like there's a few things that I do consistently pretty similar to Susan, honestly. I like to start with tea at the end of the night. I find I get headaches like really often, and if I'm super hydrated before I go to bed, it usually helps. And tea's good because it's warm, and I don't have a dryer living in Europe, so it makes me warm if my PJs can't be warm. So usually like chamomile tea, something like that, and it just helps calm me down and wash my face, brush my teeth, all that. And then I need to get back into reading at night. That's something I've been really bad about, but I like to read nonfiction during the day. I think it like helps motivate me and teaches me something. And then at night, I like to do fiction because it's kind of more relaxing and it's like something I look forward to because I love my fiction books. I like nonfiction too, but a little different. So I like doing fiction at night. And then I have my noise machine always. I always have to have that. And then phone on do not disturb, and that's kind of it for me right now. But yeah, simple. I find simple for night routines is better. Less is more because you're exhausted at the end of the day usually. So that's usually what
Absolutely. So my wants, I want like when I'm realizing like, okay, I'm tired, I want to go to bed. I want to stop working 20 minutes earlier and I want to set a timer for 15 to 20 minutes and just clean the house. Like it doesn't have to be deep cleaning, but just cleaning up after us because like I work from home, so I'm not cleaning during the day. It's one of those things where if I put in that little extra time each day, it's going to make my like week long cleaning so much easier. So just like putting the blankets away, putting the dishes away after they're dry, like little things like that. I would eventually like to have a full skincare routine because I don't have one of those. I don't know what I need because my skin, I've never had like a huge issue with like pimples or blemishes. I got really lucky in that case, but I don't know like how to take care of my skin. I know my skin gets really dry and then I put moisturizer on and that's like the extent of my skincare. So like I would like to learn what I need and then actually implement that and have like the discipline to take care of what's on my face. I want to start stretching. I don't do yoga. I've tried. It's just not for me. But I would stretch because I'm usually am sore after the gym and then walking on my treadmill all day. Like I could benefit from 5 minutes of stretching.
And
I'd
people
like to
say
journal it.
it's actually a really nice way to wind down at the end of the night is stretching right before bed.
So many benefits to it. It's just finding the 5 minutes to like do it.
Yep.
Um, and then journaling, I'd love to journal at night. I journal all day. I journal all morning. Like that's the one time of my day that I don't do it, but I already like I feel myself missing it. It's again just finding the time to do it. And that's creating routines. Like that's what you do when you're creating a new routine, whether it's in the morning or night. You're finding time for the things you want to do.
Yep.
And my last one is no social media. Chris and I are really bad about when we're tired, we're like zombie scrollers. Like we just that's just what we do because our brains are done,
Yep.
but we are still awake. So we're on our phones. And I'd rather, I honestly, if I replace my social media scrolling time with all the things I just said, I'll be set. But it's a matter of prioritizing and making that shift.
So I actually have a tip for you, and I was really good about this in college and this summer, and I haven't done it this year because with the time change, I can't get myself to log off from everything at 11 because it's 5 p.m. and
Yeah.
it's the time I get to talk to my family and friends. But I
Right.
highly recommend on the new update with your iPhone, you can set focus modes. So I used to have my, what did I call it? My wind down and then my sleep. And my wind down kicked on every single day at 8 p.m. And I only was allowed to get notifications from like five people through text and call, but no one really calls me, especially like that late at night. So, like, five people could text me. I wouldn't get any Instagram, Snapchat, no notifications. And so that was a good way that I was still on my phone and talking to people, but I wasn't seeing every little notification that came in. And then at 11 p.m., no matter if I was going to bed then or wasn't going to bed for 2 hours, 11 p.m., my phone completely, I got no notifications from anyone. And it was a great way to just, it trained me because if I'm not seeing notification, I'm going to go on my phone a lot less. So
Right.
I highly recommend focus modes. And I had the Update allows you to change your wallpaper with your focus. So I had like a really cute like it was like white bedding with like a candle, so that was like my wind down, and then sleep was
Yep.
darker. So I don't know. It was fun to do, and it made me excited when it switched on cuz it's a new background, and I don't know. Little things like that make a big difference, and the no notifications thing is huge. So
Yeah.
highly recommend.
Life changes are in the little things.
Yep, absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
that's exactly why we're here. And I literally wrote that down because that is something that I will be doing, if not today, tomorrow.
Okay, night routines are in a lot of ways so much harder than morning routines because you can choose what time you wake up and you can choose to give yourself more time in the morning. And yeah, waking up early isn't easy, but you get used to it, like Susan talked about last week. But night routines are hard because if you have to cook dinner and then you have to clean and then you have to do all these things, your bedtime just keeps getting pushed and pushed and pushed. And it's easier to just say, I can stay up 10 minutes later and keep doing all these things and push off your routine. It's easier to do that than it is to stick to it. Whereas in the morning, it's easy to just get up and do your routine and wake up earlier.
Like going off of that, like just being uninterrupted. It's a lot easier to not be distracted and influenced by other people in the morning. I know like my person isn't up when I'm up. So like I don't have that distraction. But like in the afternoon, a lot of times, even if we have an open schedule for that afternoon, it's going to fill up. And like you can't predict what you're doing. It's just harder to control. And I think that's a big thing. Like routines that are all about control of your time and your energy. And like I said, it's very easy to lose control, I feel like, in the afternoon.
Yep. Yeah.
Like go exactly agreeing with you.
What's the trick? Because you're not always tired to go to bed at 10 p.m., but maybe if you get in bed at 10 p.m. every single night, obviously things happen and you can't always. But if you decide, like, 10 p.m., I am going to bed, and even if you're not tired, then you read for longer. Or if you just start implementing things that you do no matter what, that kind of helps to form the habit.
And you're training yourself. So
Mhm.
like eventually you going to bed and you not being on your phone, that's activating like actual stuff in your brain from the blue lights.
Mhm.
If you're in there reading or whatever, your body's going to naturally shut down faster. I'm not a scientist. I don't know the science behind that, but I've read or heard that somewhere. So
And
I feel like
experience.
definitely structuring what your routine looks like is going to train your body something differently. I remember Chris and I got into like not a fight, but like a disagreement, and he wanted to just like hang out in our bedroom, but we don't have furniture. We have like our bed in our bedroom. And every time we'd watch TV in our room, I'd fall asleep. And he
Yep.
was so frustrated. He was like, I just want to watch the show with you in bed. And I was like, I can't. Like I go to bed and my body shuts off and I go to sleep. Like that's what I've trained my body to do. And so that's why we hang out in the living room now. But I think it is one of those things that like your habits will form your routine, but also like what you're doing is going to impact
Yep.
your reaction. That goes back to science too. Every action has an opposite or equal reaction.
And your environment, what you just pointed out, we don't have a TV in our bedroom here. And when I first moved here, I was kind of annoyed by it because I have had one for the past couple of years. And I've noticed it is so much better having your bedroom be the place that you rest. It makes
Mm-hmm.
such a big difference because, like, I would spend a lot more time in our bedroom if there was a TV in there. I would go
Yep.
and sit on the bed and work if I was doing like mindless stuff that I was able to have a show on, little things like that. It makes such a big difference separating your spaces, especially for us working from home. Like I work
Yes.
here, I rest there, I sleep there. Like being able to
Yep.
separate also really helps to form a routine. Maybe honestly, with both of us wanting to improve, not improve, but add to our night routines and kind of solidify them more, we should do maybe like a month from now, like come back and do like night routines follow up and see,
Yeah.
like have we like what worked and what hasn't and what did we find and kind of do like, and if anyone watching does this with us and there's tips you have, and I feel like that would be kind of a nice way to follow up on this and see.
We could split that episode too and do morning and night routines. Like how have our like that part of your day, because they're very similar. I think they are mirrored. Like I
Mhm.
spend time in the bathroom. I spend time in my room. Like they're very similar. You're rising, like
Yeah.
rise and fall. There's some metaphor in there, but
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
think
it's
that's
the
a great.
beginning and the end. Yeah.
Put it on the books. We're doing it.
Perfect. Okay, a month from now. What's that? Today's December 5th. So that's perfect, actually. The new year,
Yeah.
hopefully, like around the first, second week of January.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay.
Wonderful.
Do we want to do our favorites?
Yes. Okay. I started last week, so you start this week.
Okay, so mine is kind of a plug, but also I have a story behind this. So my ninth book, oh, the sun's kind of weird. The Museum of Us is out. So this book, we kind of talked about it a little bit in one of our last episodes. I wrote poems for strangers and friends and family. So pretty much someone you secured a page by Venmoing me or PayPaling me. You let me know any information on either who the poem was for or what you wanted the poem to be about. And then I wrote a poem for you, and then it's in the book. So I had never written a book like this. Like I've only ever written for myself. The process of writing for other people was insane. Like it was such a different experience and it was so unique and like tender and intimate in such a different way. Like I got to know these strangers like by the deepest details about them. Like it was so cool and bizarre and beautiful at the same time. So I had a lot of stress about this book. I was like, ooh, like this isn't just for my approval. Like people paid for this. Like I want them to really love what I wrote them. So I spent a lot of time on these poems. And then, so the book came out last week, and the feedback I've gotten has just been like insane. Like I've made numerous people cry, not intentionally. And like people that I wouldn't expect to be like emotionally moved by this either. So it's been so rewarding. But like I said, there was a lot of stress going into it because I wanted to do everyone justice. Like I wanted them to be happy with what they got.
I have to say, Susan wrote poems she wrote one for me, one for my family, and then one for my boyfriend. And you went above and beyond. I was like sitting here, like bawling my eyes out. I knew it was going to be good, but I can't even express I don't know. I don't even have the words. These poems were incredible.
My mother-in-law has read all of my books. Like she's the biggest hype girl. And she read her poems this weekend and she said the same thing. She was like I knew you could write, but like this is next level. And I don't know if it's seeing like your name associated with something and being like, "Oh, this was for me," and then like feeling those feelings because like it is you. And also obviously you got like your whole family and like my family. Like I know you guys inside and out. I know like you're what you're going through, but still, even the people that I didn't know, like I've had so many conversations with strangers about this and they're just so happy, and that just makes me happy. So I'm going to do it again next year so that it will be a gift that you can give, and that'll start in July, which I'm excited about.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Round two.
I could talk about it for hours. Yeah, it's amazing.
Okay,
My
your
favorite is nowhere near as tender as Susan's, but it is the fact that we decorated for Christmas on Friday of last week, I guess. I think having Christmas decor in your environment, and then I love around December when the malls and the streets and everything gets Christmas lights and Christmas decor. I think it's just the best feeling. So that's my physical favorite of the week.
I love that. Okay, so what do we call this? Emotional, spiritual?
Spiritual.
Spiritual favorite has been, which it kind of is physical, but I don't know. I'm going with it, is writing my goals out daily. I've been doing this for a week straight, and it's crazy how much I think about them in a day just from writing them down first thing in the morning. I'm thinking about ways to make them happen. And it just excites me and energizes me because last year I was like, I'm gonna write down all these goals and I'm gonna do them. And I wrote them down and I forgot about them. And obviously most of them didn't happen because I wasn't interacting with them every day. So like actually engaging and being like present with them every single day is such a game changer, and it just like it excites me to want to do them, and that's been super fun and like fulfilling and energizing.
I agree. I actually started doing this last week after you talked about how you would do the morning kickstart and then you would write out every goal every single
Yeah.
day. I was like, oh, I love that. So I started doing it. And it's great. I agree. I was thinking about my goals every single day, but more than that, when you hit those goals, it's so much celebration. Like we hit a goal in the store that I had made, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh my God, we just hit a goal." And so you can have big goals because I had kind of a mix. I have long term and short term, and it's a perfect way to congratulate yourself and remember all that you're accomplishing every single day. So yeah, I highly recommend doing that.
It's a great way to literally see your dream life loading. Like you can see it in front of you.
My spiritual favorite, similar to last week, is a quote that I found. And so the quote itself is from the Female Collective on Instagram. They have fantastic stuff, really, really good quotes, and lots of like self care, motivation, stuff like that. So the quote is, staying away from certain people is a form of self-care. And I don't want this to seem negative. I hesitated using this quote here because I don't want it to seem negative because, like, I don't want. I think you can be friendly to everyone, and you don't have to stay away from people physically, but I think putting up boundaries when you know that you need to keep that boundary for yourself, that's the self-care. So if there's people that you have to interact with or you don't want to completely stay away from, just remember that you are allowed to keep a boundary up for yourself because you have to come first. So I think that's just a really good reminder that self-care doesn't always have to be like doing a face mask or physical things like that. Like, it really is taking care of your mental health too. So I really appreciated that when I saw that this week.
I love that. And I think that just, oh, I don't know, especially around the holidays. I think that I know I have always felt like this social obligation to just like go to everything and attend everything. And by January, I'm like beat. I'm like, how am I gonna be a new year, new me if I'm so tired from running around doing things I didn't want to do? And it's like just being able to establish those and be like, no. And so you don't need to have an excuse. Like you can just say no. And that's something that I didn't really understand until honestly the last month or so. Like you can just say no.
Yep.
And you need to deal with your feelings. Like anyone's feelings about you are none of your business. And you can let that go. Like it is so nice to know like yeah, there are people who don't like me out in the world, but like I like me, so like that's all I have to worry about. I don't have to worry about them not liking me. Obviously if I did like something wrong, then I would be worried about that. But like
Mm-hmm.
just existing and having your choices be right for you, there's nothing wrong with that. And you don't have to justify that to anyone.
I was always concerned that I was being mean if I was taking or putting up that boundary or taking the step back for myself. And you can be perfectly kind and polite to someone while still keeping your boundary. And I think that was the lesson that I've learned this year, especially, is that you
Yeah.
can be kind to everyone, which I think you should be, and then mindful, kind and mindful of yourself first.
Yeah.
And that's a good place to wrap this one up.
That is perfect. Well, we can't wait to see you guys next week. We have our plan for next week, but
Well,
I
we
can't
do have
remember what
the rest of December planned out.
yeah.
I don't remember the order, but I know that we're doing Journaling 101, so really
Vision boards.
diving into journaling, vision boards, so that'll probably be towards the end of the month. I think it would be
Yeah.
so cool if we have ours done and we could show them and kind of like walk through
Yeah.
things we
Oh,
picked.
maybe journaling was next week because we do journaling, vision boards, and then 2022 wrap up, like
Yep,
the year in review.
there it is.
So look at that. You guys have 3 more
That's
weeks to
what
look
I
forward
do.
to us.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and give us a follow on Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff. Let us know if you liked this episode, what you want to see in the future, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, send us a DM, comment on any of our posts. Like we spend hours going through everything and making sure that we see and try to respond to as much as we can. There's two of us, but we are on different time zones, so we're pretty much working 24/7.
That's
Um,
true.
we just love you all in the Dream Life Floating community.
Have a great week, and we will see you next week.